Hi everybody, welcome to Von Cupcake Yoga. I'm your host Gretchen and I'm here to show you a nice yoga flow for hip opening today. Today we're going to use some blocks. Anything that's roughly the size or shape of this will work well for a block. However, they're pretty readily available on Amazon and at most large chain stores. They come in cork and block and foam and many different types of sizes, shapes, or colors. Find one that you like. I personally really love a cork block, but foam blocks are wonderful too, and I encourage you to use those as well. There's no shame in using props, so be sure to use whatever you need to modify things for your body. Everything I tell you today is a suggestion and not a command. Make adjustments for your own body throughout our practice. This is your practice. This is your time. So let's get started. Let's sit up nice and tall here. And if we got into juicy, fleshy bits back there, just move them out of the way. Our goal here is to find ourselves right on our sitting bones. Sit up nice and tall, reaching through the crown of your head. Your shoulders are going to be back and down, your hands gently resting on your knees. And maybe we close down our eyes just a little bit here. Find maybe a focal point on the floor, or close your eyes completely. And take in any noises that may be around you. Let them float away on a cloud. Any thoughts that pop into your mind, let them float away on a cloud. And start to turn your attention to your breath. Notice your breath coming in through your nose. Feel your chest rise, feel your belly expand. And notice your breath gently coming out of your nose. Continuing to breathe, paying attention to your breath, making no changes, just observing. Start to deepen your breath here, expanding your intake of air. Maybe we take in a few extra sips of air. And then on our exhale, maybe we gently tighten our tummy muscles, pressing out all of that extra air, completely changing the energy in our body. Inhaling completely, feel that chest rise, feel that belly expand. And exhaling completely, let go of all that came before. With every inhale in your mind, think refresh, renew. And with every exhale, just think release. You will gently start to find yourself connecting to your body. If you want to set an intention for your practice today, this is a great place to do that. For me today, this intention is about renewal, rebirth. So for every inhale, I'm going to bring in renewed energy, rebirthed energy. And with every exhale, I'm going to let go of what came before. And as we start to move our bodies today, let's take a big breath and extend your arms up over your head. Inhale, maybe we look up, maybe we reach up, reaching through those fingers. Big breath in, draw your palms together to touch and bring them down to your heart center. Think of that intention. Connect to it. Inhale those arms up, big breath in, and then bring that right hand down to the mat. That left arm's going to go up and over, pressing that left hip down into the mat, reaching with that right hand. Maybe we look up here. Big breath in, let it go completely. Inhale both your arms up. Exhale, bring that right hand down, that left hand up and over. Maybe we look up, anchoring that right hip down. Big breath in, exhale completely. Gently bring yourself up, big breath in. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Bring your hands down to the floor. Take a breath here. Be gentle with yourself. It's your first one. Maybe it feels good to dip one shoulder and dip the other shoulder. Gently walk those hands up, returning to your seated posture. Bring your shoulders down, back and down your back. Sit up nice and tall. Big breath here. And then on your exhale, roll your chin to your chest. Inhale completely and exhale completely. Inhale, roll that right ear to the right shoulder. Big breath in, exhale completely. And it might feel good to take this left hand and walk it around on that mat. Maybe we walk our fingers out and back and start to point that chin in a couple different directions until you find a really nice neck stretch custom made for you. And once you find that, take a big breath here. Side out completely and let gravity gently draw your head closer to your shoulder. Inhale here, release that hand, roll that chin to your chest. Exhale completely. Big breath in, roll that left ear to the left shoulder. Take a big breath here. Exhale completely. It might feel great to walk those right fingers out and back. It might feel great to point that chin in a couple different directions till you find a nice custom tailor-made neck stretch for yourself. And then take a big breath and release completely. Inhale in, roll your chin to your chest. Exhale completely. Gently draw your neck back up, your head back up to center. And let's extend our legs as wide as is comfortable. So we're just going to extend our legs. Nobody's trying to do the splits here. Don't press yourself. Don't force yourself. Find what feels comfortable for you. Make allowances for your belly. Maybe we press our bellies in and forward to release our hip to allow more motion here. And of course, any kind of juicy goodness you might have back there, just scooch it out of the way. We really want to get on those hip bones and really root ourselves down. And once we find our wide-legged stance, sit up nice and tall. Inhale those arms up, big breath in. And then exhale, fold forward once again. Let that head start to feel heavy. Maybe that torso feels heavy. Give yourself 3 breaths here. Allowing gravity to take a hold. Maybe our fingers gently walk out a little bit as our fold deepens. Start to walk your hands back. Big breath in, extend your arms up over your head and pivot towards your left extended foot. So I'm facing my left foot. I'm going to start to hinge at the hips, reaching forward with my hands, keeping my back nice and straight. And once I find my edge, and I'm looking for a nice calf and hamstring stretch here. Once I find my edge, then I can bring my hands down wherever they may be. They could be around your feet, they could be on your shins, they could be on your knees. All of this is correct. And once we find our edge and our back is nice and straight, we'll take a big breath here. And then on your exhale, let that head come down. Maybe let those shoulders roll slightly. Take a breath here. Start to walk your hands back. Start to bring your body back to center. Inhale both those arms up again. We're going to go to the other side here. Pivot your hips and your torso towards that right extended leg. Hinging at the hips, reaching forward, finding your edge here. Back nice and straight. Bring that hand down. Big breath here. Make your back nice and flat. And then exhale, let that chin come down. Let that chest come down. Maybe let those shoulders roll. Take a couple breaths here. Start to walk those hands back. Bring your body back to center. Inhale those arms up. Forward fold again. Hinging at the hips. Reaching forward. Big breath in. Sigh it out completely. Maybe let one shoulder dip. Maybe let the other shoulder dip. Sway a little bit here from side to side. Start to walk your hands back. Draw the soles of your feet together to touch. And this one's going to depend a lot on what your knees are going to allow you to do. We have blocks. Maybe it feels better to have some blocks underneath your knees to add some support. That's an option for you. Maybe it feels better to grab a hold of your ankles and gently draw them closer towards your groin. Maybe that feels good for you. Maybe your knees are not liking this at all, and we can press those feet out a little further, making more of a diamond shape. But find the shape that works for you. Make allowances for our belly. So we're going to move our belly so that we can allow a greater movement of our hip muscles. And wherever we have found our cobbler's pose, sit up nice and tall. Take a big breath in. Those hands can be on the knees, the shins, the feet, or the floor in front of you. And start to hinge at the hips, coming down. Let that head drop down. Let those shoulders roll forward. Let that torso feel heavy. Take a few breaths here. Start to walk those hands back up, drawing yourself back up to your seat. And now we're going to move positions here. So we're going to go to our tabletop pose. So that means we're going to come to your hands and knees. If you need a little extra cushioning on your knees, you can always fold your mats and give yourself some extra cushioning. You can also add a blanket or something underneath your knees. So if knees are a problem for you, there are solutions. We can add as much luxury to our practice as we need to. Let's do ourselves a solid, though. I'm a big fan of doing future me a solid, so I'm going to make sure my blocks are towards the top of my mat, ready for me so that they're there when I need them. And I'm going to bring my knees directly underneath my hips, and I'm going to bring my wrists directly underneath my shoulders. And if that's a little crunchy for you and you don't like that, walk your hands maybe a handprint up. You might find a little bit relief there. So find what feels right for you. And we're going to do what we call cat-cow. So we're going to press our fingers into the mat. We're going to tuck our tailbone and let our head drop, arching our back up as if a cord is pulling us up by our spine and giving ourselves a Halloween cat shape. Big breath in. On your exhale, let that belly drop. Let those shoulders go back and down, shining your heart forward. Turn your tailbone up, completely flexing your spine in a separate direction. Big breath in. Exhale, roll back down to your cat, tucking your tailbone, letting your head drop. Inhale, let that belly drop, let that heart shine forward. And take a couple cat-cows here to your own breath, inhaling into one shape and exhaling into the other shape. And we don't care so much what the shape looks like. We care more about what the shape feels like. So we're flexing and bending our spine in two different directions here. Exhale, return to your tabletop. Spread your knees a little further. Bring your big toes together to touch. Sink those hips back. Walk those hands out. Find yourself a child's pose. In any yoga studio, if you need a break, you need a minute, come down to this child's pose. Find your breath. Return to your breath. And when you're ready, come back into it. So let's press our hands up, bringing ourselves to our tabletop pose. And then we're going to bring that right knee forward. And this is a great place for these blocks. So if you find that you've got some shorter arms and you need to bring that earth back to you, frame your foot with the blocks. Basically put the blocks where your hands would go. And we want to pay attention to our knee. We do not want our knee to extend over the ankle. So let's scoot that left knee back just a little bit. And that's going to allow our knee to be stacked on top of our ankle without having it go over your ankle. So we're going to avoid injury here. But we want to scoop our hips down and forward, bring our hands to the floor or the blocks, pressing into the blocks. Shine your heart forward, shoulders back and down. Take a big breath here. Exhale completely. Let those hips sink in. Stretching out that front psoas muscle. For those of us who sit a lot, this muscle doesn't get as much stretching as it needs. This is great for sciatic pain. This is great for any kind of hip pain, actually. Press into that front foot. Start to straighten that right leg and let those right toes come up off the mat. Sinking your hips back towards your feet. Grab a hold of your blocks and draw them closer to your hips, finding yourself in a reverse split here. My right leg is extended. Keep your back nice and straight. Take a big breath here. And then on your exhale, maybe we hinge a little at the hips, adding a fold here. Breathe into it. Start to bend into that right knee. Start to draw those right toes back down to the mat. Draw your hands back up to frame your feet, even with the blocks. Sink those hips down. Shine your heart forward. Big breath in. Maybe it feels good to bring your hands up onto your knee. Take a big breath here. And for the full extension of our low lunge here, let's extend our arms up over our head. Big breath here. Maybe a small back bend feels good here. And if that back bend doesn't actually move, but you feel like you're doing it, then you're doing it. Big breath here. Draw those hands down to the blocks or the mat. Press into those blocks and draw that right leg back to meet the left. Returning to that tabletop, maybe we sway our hips a little from side to side. We're going to balance you out a little bit here. Returning to our stillness, bring that left foot forward. Bring those blocks to frame that left foot, scooping those hips down and forward, bringing our hands to our blocks. Big breath here. Exhale completely. Remember to scoot that right knee back if you need a little more space here so we don't injure our knees. Inhale and exhale. Letting those hips open up. Press into that left foot. Start to straighten that left leg. Start to sink those hips back and let those left toes come up off the mat. And draw your hands back closer to your hips, finding yourself in a reverse split here. Big breath in, back nice and straight. And on your exhale, maybe we fold. You should feel a really nice calf stretch. You might also feel a really good hamstring stretch here. Take a couple breaths, maybe release that head down. Start to bend into that left knee. Start to bring those left toes down to the mat. Start to shift your body forward, bringing those blocks back up. Frame your foot, returning to our low lunge. Take a breath here. Maybe we can come up on one knee. Maybe we can extend our arms, finding the full extension of our low lunge. Maybe we can gently tilt our chin towards the sky, adding a small back bend here. Big breath in, let it out completely. Draw those hands back to your blocks. Press into those blocks. Draw that left foot back to meet the right. Returning to our tabletop here. Sway those hips a little bit from side to side. Let that head drop. Returning to our tabletop. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Press them into the mat. Press your pinkies into the mat. Press your thumbs into the mat. Your pointers, your ring fingers, and your middle fingers. And tuck those toes underneath of you. Press into your hands. Press into your feet. Gently start to lift your hips, coming to our first downward dog here. Pedal out your feet, bending one knee and straightening the other. Your heels do not have to touch the floor. But we're going to gently start to walk our legs, finding ourselves up to the top of the mat. I do a little walk, pull, waddle, crawl. However you want to get to the top of the mat, but find yourself in a forward fold here. Take a nice wide-legged forward fold. Make allowances for your belly. Let that head hang low. Maybe you have a slight bend in your knee. That might feel better. Maybe a nice straight knee feels perfect. Experiment with your body. Bring your hands to your shins or your knees. Create a flat back here. Shoulders back and down. Big breath in. Fold forward. Press into your feet, bending your knees. Start to roll your spine up, one vertebrae at a time. Gently finding your way to standing. Stacking those vertebrae. Then your shoulders, then your neck, then your head. Shoulders back and down. Extend those hands towards the floor. Extend those fingers towards the floor. Palms facing out. Shine your heart forward. Find your mountain pose, your Tadasana. Take a couple breaths here. Big breath in, extend your arms up over your head. Maybe it feels really nice to press your pelvis forward, finding a little back bend here. Big breath in, start to hinge at the hips, bring your arms out to the sides, and swan dive all the way down. Forward fold. Hands on your shins, flat back, shoulders back and down. Big breath in, fold forward. Bend into those knees, press into those feet. Start to roll your spine, stacking those vertebrae one at a time. Then your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Arms pointing down, fingers pointing down, palms facing out. Big breath in. Sigh it out completely. Extend those arms up over your head. Breathe here. Maybe we press our pelvis gently forward. Exhale, bring those arms out to the side. Swan dive all the way down. Hands on your shins, flat back, shoulders back and down. Exhale, fold. Let's do that one more time. Bending into those knees nice and deep, pressing into your feet. Start to roll your spine, gently stacking those vertebrae. Shoulders, neck, then head. Extending the arms, mountain pose. Big breath in. Let it out completely. Step forward into the center of the mat with your right foot. Extend that left foot back behind you and pivot that left foot so the blade of your foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. And we're going into a warrior two here. So we're going to turn our hips to the side, bend our front knee. We're going to tell this front knee that we want to gently guide it towards the right so we're not closing in on ourselves to protect that knee. Sit up nice and tall and extend your arms out to either side, finding your warrior two, turning your gaze right down your middle finger to the front. And then check your back arm. We want our shoulders and our arms to come straight out from our shoulders, not above or below, just straight out. Turn your gaze back to the front. Find your warrior two nice and strong. Tighten that core. Bring this right arm down to your right thigh. Extend this left arm up and over, finding a side body stretch here. Big breath in. And bring your body back up to center. Warrior two. Exhale completely. Flip that front hand palm facing up. Reach it up towards the ceiling. Let that back hand come down back by your thigh. Reverse warrior. Breathe here. Maybe you straighten that front leg. Maybe you bend it. Find what feels right for your body. And bring your body back up to your warrior two. Breathe. Straighten that front leg. Kick that back sassy hip out. Reach forward with your front arm. And then start to lower it towards the ground. Maybe it comes to a block. Finding your triangle, your Trikonasana. Find the base here. And then that other hand, we can extend that straight up towards the ceiling. Or if we feel more comfortable, we can always bend that elbow and tuck it behind our arm and press that shoulder back towards the wall, opening up your heart. Find which version of Trikonasana works for you. Take a breath. Start to press into that front foot. Gently bend that front knee. Draw your body back up to warrior two and step it forward. Find your mountain pose, your Tadasana. Breathe here. Center that other foot and step it back. Right foot back. Pivot that back leg so that back foot is, the blade of that foot is parallel to the back of that mat. Turn your pelvis towards the side of your mat and extend both your arms. Turn your gaze towards the front. Find your warrior two, bending that front knee. And just look at both your arms, maybe look back. We want to make sure that arm is coming straight out from our shoulder, not above or below. Take a breath here. Bending in that front arm, press that forearm to that thigh, extend that arm up and over, finding a side angle pose here. You really want to make your body look like a nice slash mark, actually. Big breath in, press into that front foot, extend those arms, returning to our warrior two. Exhale completely. Flip that front hand, lift it up towards the ceiling. Bring that back hand down by your thigh, reversing that warrior. You can bend in that front knee or keep it straight, whichever feels right for your body. Exhaling completely. Extend those arms out to your side, returning to your warrior two. Straighten that front leg and kick that back sassy hip out. Reach forward with that front arm. Come on down to a block or the floor or your shin. Finding your Trikonasana on the other side. Get your footing and your bearings and then extend that top arm or reach it behind your back, pressing your shoulder towards the wall behind you. Breathe here. Start to bend into that front knee.
Start to press into that front foot. Draw your body back up, returning to your warrior two. And step it up to the front of your mat. Finding your mountain pose once again. Extend those arms down by your side. Press your toes into the mat. Breathe gently here. Inhaling and exhaling. Be strong in your mountain pose. Fully engage your toes. Try to press all four corners of your feet into the mat. Engage those quads, tighten those glutes. Extending those fingers. Inhale up, arms up. Breathe here. Maybe a small back bend in your practice. Exhale, swan dive all the way down. Maybe a gentle bend of the knee feels good here. Step your feet nice and wide. Make allowances for your body. Maybe we can grab opposite elbows and gently sway from side to side. Maybe we gently bend one knee and straighten the other knee. Breathing here in this inversion. Bending your knees deep here. Maybe we bring our hands down to the mat and step back to your down dog. Press those hips up and back. Release that head down. Your heels don't have to touch the floor. That's a myth. And then maybe very gently lower those knees, bringing yourself down to your tabletop pose. Shift those hips back. Find a child's pose here. Breathe into it. This is a great place to return to your intention. Think about why you came to the mat today. Gently start to press yourself up, returning to our tabletop. And then come forward just a little bit and shift down. And we're going to come to a seat. Taking a big breath here. I'm going to do myself a solid and bring one of my blocks a little closer to the side of my mat. Just kind of, again, doing future you a solid. And that way it's right and within my reach. I'm going to extend my legs out in front of me and bring a small bend in my knee. Shift any of that juicy goodness out from behind you. Get nice and grounded here. Take a breath here and maybe we gently pivot back on our sacrum, engaging those tummy muscles. And maybe we gently allow our toes to lift up off the floor, leaning back even more. Maybe we can allow those heels to gently start to lift up off the floor as we find balance in our boat pose. Maybe we can extend our arms. Maybe we can extend our feet, gently, slowly starting to lower down, using the strength of your core until you find your way down. Big breath in, sigh completely. Knees bent, feet flat on the mat. Draw your feet a little closer to your hip bones. Bring your arms down by your sides. Gently sway your knees from side to side. Inhale and exhale. Gently start to return to stillness and cross that right ankle over that left knee. And gently sway from side to side here. Maybe we press onto that thigh to kind of open that up. Let that knee feel heavy. And if you want to take this stretch to the next level, we can lift up on that left knee, reach down and hold on to that left thigh, or even that right shin. Finding your version of a reclined pigeon pose, maybe a gentle rock from back and forth feels really good here. Maybe you can roll out your ankles, maybe you can flex your feet, maybe you can let them hang loose. Breathe here. Slowly lower that left foot down. Slowly start to lower your hands down. Keeping your ankle crossed over your knees, start to sway your knees from side to side. Maybe one side your knee comes down. And maybe as you sway to the other side, your foot comes down towards the mat. Maybe start to get a little dramatic with it and let that knee come a little closer as you sway in that direction. And maybe we let that foot come a little bit closer as we sway in the opposite direction, letting that foot come down to the mat, finding yourself in a twist. Extend your arms out to the side and turn your gaze in the opposite direction that your knees are pointing, finding a reclined twist here. Breathe. Start to tighten up on them tummy muscles. Draw those knees back to center. Bring that right foot down. Sway those knees from side to side. We're going to cross that left ankle over that right knee. Let that knee feel heavy. Maybe we gently press on that left thigh. Let that left thigh feel heavy. Maybe we'd like to take this stretch to the next level and lift up on that right leg, hold on to that right thigh, and maybe even your left shin. Gently rock from side to side. Gently lower that right foot down and gently sway those knees from side to side, keeping that left ankle crossed over that right knee, letting that knee come a little closer to the floor. And as we rock to the right side, maybe that foot comes to the floor. Gently passing from side to side, starting to deepen that until maybe that left foot comes down on the right. We'll extend our arms out to our sides, turn our gaze to the left, take a breath here. Starting to tighten those tummy muscles. Draw those knees back to center. Let that left foot down. Let those knees sway from side to side. And reach down with your arm and grab a hold of that block. Bring those heels about in line with your hip bones. They don't have to be exact, but just about. Press into those feet. Grab that block. We're going to gently lift up our hips, and we're going to draw that block underneath our sacrum. Settling down on that block, you should feel completely supported. So make sure you move that block around until you feel like your hips are completely supported, your sacrum is supported. Then take a breath here in your supported bridge pose. Allow that lower back to release down. Big breath in. Exhale completely. Start to gently draw your knees to your chest. With every inhale, press your knees towards your hands. Start to extend your heels towards the ceiling. Pressing your heels toward the ceiling. Extend your arms toward the ceiling and circle out your wrists and circle out your ankles. Maybe you hear some snappy crackle pops. That's all okay. Breathe here. Pressing those heels towards the ceiling. Bend those knees. Drawing your knees to your chest. Inhale and exhale. Maybe we start to extend our heels towards the ceiling once again. Maybe we bring our arms down to our sides. Or maybe out to a T. Take a big breath here. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, this version of legs up the wall is always very helpful to bring me out of my survivor mode and allow me to regulate my nervous system a little better. Breathe here. Wiggle your toes. Start to bend your knees. Start to gently bring those feet back down to the mat. Take a couple breaths here in your supported bridge pose. Maybe we extend our legs. This might feel really good for your front psoas muscles, especially if you sit a lot at your job or during the day. Those little front hip muscles really affect you and help with sciatic pain too. So breathe here, open up those muscles. Start to bend your knees. Planting those feet, pressing into your feet, lift your hips, grab a hold of that block, just move it out of the way. And very gently, very slowly start to lower your spine one vertebrae at a time all the way down to the ground. Feel the difference. Maybe that mat feels a little cooler underneath your back. Take a couple breaths here. Maybe start to extend your legs. Take up some space. Maybe let those feet splay out to the side. Maybe extend your arms out to the side. Draw your right foot to the right side of your mat. Draw your left foot to the right side of your mat. Extend your arms up over your head and grab a hold of your left wrist. Draw your upper torso to the right side of your mat, making like a banana shape. Wiggle around here. Find a nice side body stretch for yourself, and then take a big breath in it, and then exhale completely. Start to draw your legs back to center. Draw your upper torso back to center. Big breath in. Exhale completely. Draw that left leg to the left side of your mat. Draw that right leg to the left side of your mat. Maybe we cross it over. Reach up with your hands. Grab a hold of that right wrist. Draw your upper torso to the upper left-hand corner of the mat, making like a banana shape on this side. Wiggle around here until you find a nice side body stretch. And once you have it, take a deep breath. Exhale completely. Gently start to release, drawing your legs back to center. Inhale completely and exhale completely. Maybe bring the soles of our feet together a touch and let our knees splay out to the side. Drawing our arms up over our head into cactus arms. Start to bend your elbows and point your fingers towards each other, kind of making a figure 8 shape with your body. Take a big breath here. Exhale completely. Breathe into your figure 8 shape, your gentle opener. Start to extend your legs, splaying your feet out to the side, releasing our hands down. Let's rest our hands on our belly. Start to just breathe here. Feeling your hands rise when you inhale as your belly and chest fills up with air. Feeling them gently waft down as you exhale. Reminding your body to release all of that extra oxygen. Following your breath into your Shavasana, I will bring you back. As we start to return to our body, start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Maybe we lick our lips, maybe we flare our nostrils. Take a big breath in, exhaling completely. Start to bend your knees. Sway your knees a little from side to side. Maybe extend your arms out to a T, gently swaying from side to side. And then press yourself onto your favorite side, coming to a fetal pose here. Take a big breath here. Scoop up any old energy that's still lingering around. Exhale completely in our renewal pose, our fetal pose. Like a phoenix from the ashes, we rise in our rebirth. Breathe. Gently start to press yourself up to a seat, taking your time, moving slow. Maybe don't even open your eyes yet, as if you're not ready to wake up from this dream. And find your way to your most comfortable seat. And sit with it just a moment. Let the world come back to you. Draw your palms together at your heart center. Bring your chin to your chest. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, be sure to hit that notification bell and you will get an alert every time I post a video. If there is something you would love to see on my channel, please let me know in the comments below. I know this video was a little bit weird. I'm new at this, so my microphone went out halfway and I had to do a voiceover for the rest of it. So I want to thank A Little Twisted Yoga Studios for allowing me a wonderful space in which to film and teach and grow. And I encourage you to check out your local yoga studios and see what kind of classes they have. But I will be here for you in the interwebs. And until then, we will see you next time, my friends. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.